Beth Ghostraven. I'm a retired middle school teacher librarian in the physical world. In Second Life, I own the Book and Tankard pub in Victoria City, which is next door to this building. And I also own Ghostraven Professional Attire, which is this building right next to the courtyard. It's classic clothing for educators in Second Life. And the link is right there. Let's see. I'm communications chair for the BWBPE conference, Virtual World Best Practices in Education, and transcript editor for VWER, Virtual World's Education Roundtable. I maintain a personal calendar of Virtual World's education events called Beth Ghostraven's Picks, and that's the URL for it here. Thanks, Sheila. Let's see. This presentation will be in voice and text, and any discussion will be in text. So if you have comments or questions, please type them in text chat, and I'll keep an eye on that. This is also being live streamed. If it's easier for you to see the live stream, this is the link for it.
I think I'm going to have to relog again.
Part of the learning curve for teaching and learning in Second Life and Open Simulator is the need to personalize one's avatar. Teachers need their appearance to enhance and not detract from their instruction. Students need to feel immersed in order to learn effectively, and personalizing their avatars contribute to this, in my opinion. This presentation will help you to explore some possibilities for making your avatar look like you want it to look. Thank you, Ms. Cece. That's helpful. Keep in mind, though, that within Virtual World, there is a wide scope for what may be considered professional, and non-human avatars certainly can be. I sometimes attend professional events as my tiny avatar, a little hedgehog in business clothing, or my dinky avatar, a tiny bunny. This nowadays, I spend more time as a dinky than as a human. It's a lot more fun. There's room here for all of us. Here's what we will learn about today, hopefully. Oh, yeah. Sheila says she taught at NCI, New Citizens Incorporated, for 5 years as a NECO. Could you type in chat what a NECO is? A cat girl, okay. So a human-sized avatar with cat ears and a cat face and a tail. Am I right? Okay. Finding free and inexpensive clothing. Unpacking clothing. How not to appear naked. Editing classic clothing and attachments. And making and saving outfits, very briefly. This whole slideshow is included in the box near the entrance. Click on it and it will give you a bunch of goodies. And I'm going to walk over to the box so you can make sure you see it. And you notice the way I'm walking is really kind of odd. This is the box right here. That's because I'm not wearing an AO, and more about that in a little bit. Thank you. Yes, the classic default duck walk, exactly. Differences between classic and mesh avatars and classic and mesh clothing. I love mesh for buildings, furniture, and shoes, but not for clothing. Our feet look basically the same regardless of our shape, but our avatar shapes do not. I don't have a standard avatar shape, and most mesh clothing does not fit me well. And Nellie, if you'll zoom in on my avatar, you can see that I'm wearing a mesh dress. Actually, I'm going to walk over here. I rose this dress because it is mesh, and I'm standing next to the rose dress wearing the dress. My body image struggles in the physical world have left me with a philosophy that all of our shapes have value, whether they are standard or not. If you don't want to use one of the standard shapes in Second Life, classic clothing may work better for you, as it does for me. I have no objection to mesh bodies and clothing for others, but they're beyond the scope of this presentation. The body and clothing I have on are non-mesh, the default system avatar and system clothing, except, of course, for the mesh dress that I'm wearing on top of it. I didn't know that. Moonbeam says, mesh is a technical malfeasance. Mesh was meant for fixed sculptures, never for anything that moves. That makes a lot of sense. The classic avatar and clothing are what was originally available in Second Life. To me, mesh body parts and clothing are kind of like molded plastic. They fit over the standard body. Sometimes this works well, and sometimes it doesn't. I love this sign that I saw on New Resident Island. Why are people telling you that you need a mesh body? You do not need a mesh body. That is down to personal choice and personal aesthetics. You can use your classic body for as long as you want to while in Second Life, and I hope that continues to hold true. That's by Treacle Darlanda's New Resident Island. Here's what happens when I wear a mesh outfit on my custom classic shape. On the left, you can see that with the alpha to hide my shape, the dress almost fits. Now with the mesh dress I'm wearing right now on my avatar, I'm not wearing an alpha with that. The top looks awkward because my bust is different from the standard avatar shapes. The differences are even clearer when I don't wear the alpha layer as on the right. My blue glitch top and pants show through the dress in a lot of places. To me, wearing an alpha over my body is like wearing a girdle in the physical world. It's just not me. And the term glitch top and pants refers to system clothing that you wear under your regular clothing so that you prevent glitches or wardrobe malfunctions, in other words, appearing naked. More about that soon. In this presentation, classic avatars and clothing are defined as any non-mesh avatars and clothing. Shapes and skins work together to make the basic avatar body. This shows the difference between shape and skin and how they work together to create an avatar. The Carla shape and skin are from the Linden Lab library. More about that soon. The slideshows on the side, I'm going to walk over here again, show Linden Lab's skins, shapes, and outfits. They're the one to my left here. A copy of each slideshow is included in that box of goodies. Classic clothing, system clothing, and hair. The icons on the right show system items in your inventory in the Second Life viewer. The icons in the Firestorm viewer are very similar. If you show only clothing in your inventory, these will be the only things that show up. The texture is applied to the shape as if painted on. If the item is editable, it may be customized using sliders and tint. This slide is also replicated on the back wall here for your reference if you want it. System clothing layers, or also called BOM or bakes on mesh, appear on the body in a particular order. At the bottom of this diagram, first are the body parts layers, which must be worn. Next are tattoo layers, then universal layers, which are another kind of tattoos. Inner clothing layers appear on top of those, and outer clothing layers appear on top of those, and then alpha layers on top of those. Alpha layers make areas invisible. And then mesh appears on top of all of that. You can wear multiple layers of each kind and can arrange their order within that kind. Shirt layers, for instance. In Appearance, in the Wearing tab, you can click the gear at the top to edit the outfit and change layer orders. System clothing is also known as BOM, or bakes on mesh. Yes, bakes, not baked. This means that it can be worn by most mesh avatars as well as classic avatars. And I'll put some resources in here if you're interested in clicking on those later. This speakeasy text is also in that box of goodies for you. Making and saving outfits. We're just going to touch on this briefly because I want you to have a fallback. Before we get started, I want to make sure you have your current appearance saved as an outfit. Outfits are essential for quickly changing clothes and for recovering your appearance if you make mistakes getting dressed. I recommend having at least one basic outfit with a name that starts with an exclamation point, so it shows at the top of your outfits folder for quick access. That's a librarian's filing hint. Exclamation point at the beginning of a file name makes the file name appear at the top alphabetically. Using the appearance window. First, make sure you have added and worn everything that you want to include in the outfit. Then click the icon in your viewer that looks like a little shirt. That will open the appearance window. Click Save As and give the outfit a name. When you want to wear the outfit again, look for it in the Outfits folder of your inventory. And you can right-click the outfit and click Replace Current Outfit. It's a good idea to have at least one go-to outfit that you can put on at an instant's notice. So go ahead and do that. And please type a Y in chat when you have finished saving your current appearance as an outfit. Okay, we've got Jade, Percy, Amelia. Miss Cece. I have well over 1,000 outfits, which is ridiculous. One of my favorite things to do in Second Life is mixing and matching clothes to make new outfits. I have almost as many outfits as I have friends. Yeah, Moonbeam says, I have 50,000 items of nothing to wear, lol. Human, Percy says, human, centaur, mermaid, dinky, petite. Wow. And Andrea, I'm going to point to your avatar real quickly. Notice that she's in editing appearance mode. I have my preferences set so you can't tell, so it doesn't put me into the T mode when I'm changing outfits. But the default is to have your avatar do that. Miss CC says, I change on the fly usually and don't use outfits often, but as was said, I do have them and use them and they're useful. And you can take a picture of your outfit, Jade says, so you can see what you have on. That's a good point. That's something I haven't done, but usually most of the items that I buy have an advertising picture that comes with it, so I use that to see what the outfit looks like. Yeah, Jade says that's in Outfit Gallery. It doesn't cost anything. Oh, so you don't have to pay 10 lindens per picture for that? She says, no, you don't. That's good to know. That might be something I need to address in a future presentation. Let's see. Okay, who else is finished? Type a Y in chat if you haven't already and you saved your outfit. Okay. Aprilliana, which viewer are you using? Okay. At the bottom of your viewer, there are a whole lot of icons. There's a walking person, there's an eye, there's a camera, and there's one that looks like a little shirt. Click on that one. Right. It also, Miss Cece says, okay, you got as far as 4. Let me look at the slide. Okay, so you click Save As, and you gave the outfit a name, right? That's okay. Don't worry about step 5. That's later. I should take the numbers off of those. You're all finished. You saved it as an outfit. Hooray! So remind me later, and I'll show you how to do. Moonbeam says, step 6, wear big girl panties, but not if you're a guy, right? That's funny. Okay, let's see. Next, finding free and inexpensive clothing. You already have all of these avatars, their clothing, and accessories in your inventory already. Some of them have mesh bodies, and almost all of the clothing is mesh. These are decent looking starting point, but trying to dress a mesh avatar is not simple. You can mix and match pieces of all of these. Many people don't realize that all of these pieces are available instantly for free. The original classic avatars are still available via the library in inventory, and I'll show you how to do that. Yes, there are some wings, and there are 2 horses, some swords, all kinds of accessories, some pets. I just want to mention that Second Life has just introduced a new set of mesh starter avatars, which are available in your library. And I think I saw somebody in here wearing one of the Senra avatars. That's beyond the scope of this presentation, but here are some resources if you're interested. Okay, the easiest way to access the Second Life free avatars, in the Second Life viewer, click the Me menu. In Firestorm, click the Avatar menu. That's going to be in Firestorm, that's on the top left. Then click Choose an Avatar. These are all classic avatars with mesh clothing. I suggest starting with the classic tab, but you can choose whatever strikes your fancy. Click the avatar you want, and poof, you're now wearing all the parts to that avatar, and all of those pieces are now in your clothing and body parts folders, so you can mix and match any of them. I love the word poof. I said that on the announcements at school one time, and the assistant principal cracked up laughing. Apuriana, do you see the avatar menu at the top left? Farland, yes, this is an introductory one. You might want to come back next week for more details. Okay, click the avatar menu and then scroll down. It's about halfway down. It says choose an avatar. Do you see it? And then there are 4 tabs there for different kinds of avatars. Just look through and pick one, and then click select. Okay, I think we're caught up now. Okay, type a Y in chat when you have changed. And I'm looking around and I'm seeing people who have. I went through and added everything. Isn't this a great dress? Now this is mesh, but I like that this avatar and the Leonard avatar for men is, they look a little older than the usual avatar. Hi Aquarius, welcome. I didn't see you come in. Aquarius is wearing a beautiful mermaid outfit. But see, you can use this dress with any avatar. Or the necklace, or the hair. It's all on. I'm changing it to my own shape. Oh, there we go. Okay. Percy, look at the top left. If you're in Firestorm, it's called the Avatar menu. And then scroll down about halfway until you see Choose an Avatar. I'm going to go ahead and advance the slides, and I'll show you another way to find these. Yes, exactly. Some of the pets are awesome. Miss Cece says, oh, this one has a pet sprite. If you would like to have a mesh avatar but still want to be able to use classic system clothing, look for a mesh body that enables bakes on mesh. And I have to tell you, I think mesh avatars, unless you're using one of the free ones, are really expensive. So make sure it's really what you want before you spend that kind of money on it. Here's another way to find the free outfits from Linden Lab. If you open your inventory, then click the collapse button. Yes, Moonbeam said you can go to library to get pre-mesh. That's exactly what I'm showing you now. Open your inventory and then click the collapse button. You'll see 2 folders, inventory and library. Open the library folder, then the clothing folder. If you click on one of the clothing folders, you can drag that whole folder onto a subfolder with an outfit onto your avatar. And let me see what those older ones are called. Library, clothing. Okay. If you go to library, clothing, and then older outfits, those outfits are the really old ones. The avatars themselves are dated, but all of the clothing that comes with those avatars are BOM system clothing and prim clothing. So you can use those, you can edit those more easily. Percy says, oh my, this comes with a horse. Exactly. Apuliana, in open inventory, and at the top left, there's a button that says collapse. Click that. You'll just see two folders, two big folders there. One's inventory and one's library. Open the one that says library, and that's all of your library items. So all of those are a gift from Linden Lab. There's all kinds of stuff in there. There's a huge skull in there that I used to decorate my very first house for Halloween in Second Life. And I was telling Apuliana earlier that when I first came into Second Life, it took me like 2 months, and I'm not kidding, being here every day to learn how to change my clothes. So don't feel bad if it takes you a little while to figure it out. It is all good. Everybody here was new once. And the people here are really helpful people. Who likes libraries? Yeah, they do add new items periodically. Apuliana, do you see it now? Moomin says, New Citizens Inc. is a group worth joining. They helped me big time today, and I've been here 17 years. They are a really good group. And if you look at the freebies note card in the goodie box, there are some newcomers places in there. Oh, good. Okay. Apuliana says, thank you. I just found it. Once you have worn one of these outfits, you will then be able to access those outfit pieces later from the clothing and body parts folders in your own inventory. So I just clicked on everything. I like free stuff. So I clicked on all of these avatars to become them. And now I have it all. Notice that it tells you in the picture, in that part under initial outfits, it tells you whether it's a mesh avatar. The other ones are all classic avatars. And then these are different from the Senra avatars. Those are Jamie and somebody, I forget what they're called. Moonbeam says, this is like being in a bra sizing store, lol. Let's get those girls a proper size. Yes. And Miss CC says, I like free stuff, something everyone has said in Second Life. Finding more freebies. There are lots of free things around Second Life. If you haven't already, click on the box on the ground to get the goodies that go with this presentation. One of the note cards has landmarks for places to get freebies. And I think the free dove is back up. I didn't put that one back in there yet. How are we doing on time? Okay. If somebody has the new landmark for free dove, if you could share that with the audience, that would be wonderful. Thanks, Jade. Using a really old skin can make your avatar look out of date. And by old, I don't mean a skin that makes you look old. I mean a skin that is from like Second Life 2009. You can edit your shape with the sliders, but skins can only be edited outside of Second Life. I suggest starting with the skins in the Linden library to see what you like. The skin that I wear is a freebie from a place called Mar, which isn't in Second Life anymore, unfortunately. Percy says Free Dove is called Paloma Plaza. Yeah, it's named after the founder of it, who had died last year. Thanks, Percy. Animation overriders, called AOs, are another key to having a professional-looking avatar. The way an avatar moves without one is very jerky and looks weird. Let me find my AO that I usually wear. I use a free one. Let's see, women's, called Basically Girl. And actually, I'm wearing an AO that came with this outfit, so let me take that one off. Okay, the one that came with it is called Animation Overrider Female. So now I'm wearing basically, and I turned that one off. There we go. So that's the way I usually walk. The stand for this one is a little odd because it goes all over the place and I'm always bumping into people, but it's easy to turn it off. And notice that when I sat to stand at this podium, the AO made me look like I'm sitting down, so I need to turn the AO off to make my animations look normal. Let's see. There are male and female AOs included in your Linden library to start with. And 2Ds also has free AOs. The landmark is in the freebies note card in this, in that box. And this one is called AX-00001 Oracle. I don't remember if I put the landmark for that one or if it's in there for free anymore. But those are places to start at least. You need to make sure you turn off your AO when you're sitting on scripted objects, like these benches, for instance, or this podium. It will probably look strange to others. Sometimes it looks like you're being eaten by whatever chair you're sitting on. And it might look normal to you and look odd to other people. So if somebody tells you your chair is eating you, that might be why. There are also different AOs that are used for non-humans, like merpeople and tinies, among others. And Jade just sent me a link to a freebie site. I'm going to put that in chat here. Thank you. That is awesome. Some freebies are only available to new residents 30 days and under, but most freebies are available to anyone. Unpacking things. So when you get stuff, you can't just wear the box because it'll look like you're wearing a box. There's two ways you can unpack things. You can either res them or you can wear them. Some things, if you can wear something and unpack it, you can also res it, but it doesn't work the other way around. Let's see. If you res something, that means you make an item from your inventory appear in world. You must be on land that allows you to build. The unpacking note card has landmarks for some public newcomer-friendly sandboxes where anyone can build or res things. Moonbeam says, my alt got like 60 free hairs. I want to be an alt again. And Ms. CC shakes head. Boxes, so many boxes. And Moonbeam says, go to the NCI sandbox to res stuff. And that's one of the links on that note card. If you join the group for my shop, you can res things here today. And that's a link for the group there. You can also get some freebies inside the shop if you want. And then you can drop the group later. It's free to join anytime you want. When you're resing something, you open My Inventory. Look in the Recent tab, or find the object in your inventory. You click the object and drag it onto the ground. Right-click the object that you resed and click Open. So, for example, I'm going to res that box full of goodies. Where's my presentation? Oh, I don't think I took a copy of it. So I touched it. I have to click Accept to get it. And then I look in my Recent tab. And it's in a folder. Oh, it gave me a folder with everything in it. So never mind, that doesn't need to be unpacked. But I could res the unisex fleece package. That's what that looks like. If you right-click it and then click Copy, click Open, and then click Copy to Inventory, it will copy everything that's inside there to your inventory. And the unpacking note card in the box has some public sandboxes that you can use. You can also unpack things sometimes by adding an object. Sometimes objects can be worn to unpack them. I'm grateful to Alice Klinger of Allie and Allie Hair for the script that I used for this. Make sure that you add, don't wear. Moonbeam says, the fun thing is 99% of everything is user created. We live in a world of art that we created. Be art. And Percy says, yes, some stores are doing that now. So here's what happens when I wear I'm going to add the GPA women's dress. I used to put hover text in these so it said add and touch to unpack. Most of the new things that I've packed don't say that, but if I click this, then it says your object name blah 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 has given you this folder blah blah blah, and I click accept, and now I have those things, and I can right click it and detach. I've included 2 objects in the box that can be unpacked this way for some free clothes. So you open My Inventory, look in the Recent tab or find the object, right-click the object and click Add. Look at your avatar, find the object that you added and click it to unpack it. Click Accept. And then you'll have your things. Some things appear as a HUD now. Yes, always add. Exactly. That's my next point. How not to appear naked. How to put on your clothing so you don't appear naked. Right click and add clothing in a pen attachment. Always wear a system shirt and pants under your mesh outfits, so while your clothes are rezzing for others, you don't appear naked. A heads-up display is something that appears on your screen, but not in world. It appears on the screen of your viewer. Does that help? Like, for instance, when you open the inventory thing, that's a heads-up display. You're seeing your inventory folders, but you're not actually seeing them in world. Does that help? Remember, don't click where, click add. This is a lot to take in all at once. And Barland says, I have a question. I have so many clothing. When I get a new outfit, it's hard to find once it's out of objects and recent. You're right. That's a whole different inventory question. Organizing your inventory is a whole different ballgame. And there's a really good class. Yeah, that's why Percy says outfit. That's why it's so good to make outfits. There's a class at Caledon Oxbridge University on, I think on Saturdays, on inventory organization. And it's really helpful in helping to finding things later. Oh, Jade says, I teach a class on that at Builder's Brewery on Monday at 9 a.m., August 26th. That's awesome. If you could send out the information on that to the people that are here, that would be great. Let's talk about permissions. When you're talking about editing things, sometimes you can edit things and sometimes you can't. Permissions are one of the trickiest parts of Second Life. Something might say no modify when it's actually only the script inside that can't be changed. If the item doesn't have any permissions after it, listed after it in your inventory, then it's full prom. Usually these are older freebies. The undershirt layers in this folder are necklaces that are made as a system layer rather than the usual prim. Just as a note, if it's something that you created, it's full perm for you, but you'll have to right-click and click properties to see what the perms would be for someone else. Moonbeam says, the most important thing to know is griefers can't mess with you when you are seated. Okay, that's a good point. And here's another rule. When you're modifying something, if at all possible, make a copy first. It's really easy to totally mess something up when you're trying to customize it. If the item is not copyable, check with the designer to see if they'll give you another copy. Many designers are easy to work with and willing to help. I've met some wonderful people that way. Editing system clothing. And Nellie asked Apuliana to mute herself. I think, oh, I see.
How?
Nellie, you might want to mute her in your view, just for ease. I'm not sure she knows how to do that. In this jacket, the upper fabric is a template created in Photoshop, which cannot be altered in Second Life. I think I missed a step. To get to this point, nope, I didn't miss a step. If you click on the shirt for the appearance window, that opens up. And then when you're wearing a BOM or system layer, you can right-click on it and edit it. You have to be wearing it to be able to edit it. But this is what the editing window looks like for a BOM piece of clothing. In this jacket, the upper fabric is a template created in Photoshop which cannot be altered in Second Life. Because it is grayscale, though, it can be tinted by clicking the color/tint box, which opens the color picker. Make sure you click OK before you close the color picker to save the color you chose. And Moonbeam says, mesh can't be edited. News at 11. That's one reason I love BOM clothing. Although not all BOM clothing can be edited either. Classic clothing, prim clothing and hair. So that box that I just read is a prim. It can be changed in amazing ways to make all kinds of stuff. In prim clothing and hair is attached to your avatar. It may be customized if it's modifiable. And flexi prims, like skirts, show natural looking movement. So this dress that I'm wearing now is mesh. It does not show natural movement. Let me change my outfit. Let's see. Okay, I'm putting on my glitch pants first and my system top next. And then I'm going to take off this dress. And I need to take off the alpha. Let's see. a Gretchen dress alpha take off. And then I'm going to add the flexi skirt that goes with this. And I'm going to stand up. Now when I walk with this flexi skirt, you can see the difference in how it moves. That's why I love flexi skirts and hair. Prim and mesh clothing in your inventory are indicated by cube or object icons. Except for the AO, the animation overrider, you can wear or res the object and edit it if the permissions allow you. Make a copy first and use a pose stand, especially if you're editing hair or jewelry. Jade, thank you for that note card. She gave us a note card that says, organizing your inventory, August 26th. A pose stand can be resed. When you stand on it, it holds your avatar still so you can edit attachments without slipping. There's one included in the goodie box. You can also use the T-pose animation included in the box. And there is also a T-pose button you can push in Firestorm. I'm not sure if that's a default button or not. Editing wearable prim objects. In the Wearing or Worn tab of Inventory or Appearance, you can right-click on an object and choose Edit. And I'm going to have to take a bio break for just a moment. I will be right back. Talk amongst yourselves, please.
All right, so how's everybody doing? Any questions so far about what you've seen?
Even if the object can't be modified, if it is not rigged mesh, it can be moved. I usually have to lower my necklaces because my avatar is shorter than the usual in Second Life. Some items have resize scripts in them. If that's the case, do not edit, but click on the object to open the resize menu. Be sure to make a copy before you make any changes if possible. Ms. Cece says, if you've got your mesh body set up, it can become routine, but it's never fast unless you use outfits. Apuliana, I don't do anything with mesh, so I'm not qualified to have a session on that, but hopefully you can zoom in and see it. There's a list of what my avatar is wearing, and at the very bottom, yeah, really, it's okay. This takes a while. You have the women's outfit in the folder that you got the men's outfit from. You just need to add that one and unpack it, and then you'll have the women's outfit too. Let's see. I put my email address into chat, and the website has more information. I'm going to edit the website so it matches the Linden Lab outfit screen shows that I have. But that's the end of this presentation. Thank you all for coming. I really appreciate it. If you'd like to know more, there is another session, part 2, next Monday at the same time at 9 a.m. Second Life time.
Thank you. Thank you, Beth.
I
And
learned
thank you,
some things
everyone.
too. I always do.
We always learn when we are at these sessions. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us. And we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. This is Nellie Deutsch from VW MOOC 24. Have a great day. Bye for now.